Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Motor City Mad Mouse Show. We are here in Iceland, and I am joined by...
Anna Katarina.
And where are we?
We are here in Mývatn. It's a region in the northern part of Iceland. And the lava field behind us is called Dimmuborgir.
Very nice. Well, I know one thing. I've never walked on a lava tour before, but that was a pretty interesting trail.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting area in general. I mean, it was created 2,300 years ago, where two eruptions were happening at the same time, and then they were flowing into that depression behind us, and they created this lava field. You can see a lava field like that, just like that here in Mývatn, and another one is underwater. So it's much more convenient to visit that one here.
Wasn't the last major volcano, 2010 did you mention before?
So this area here was created 2,300 years ago. Before that, everything was covered with glacier, and this is also how the lake here got created. But the last big eruption in this area was in 1975 till 1984, so total 9 years.
Very nice. So tell me a little bit about the eruption history in the area.
So there were eruptions happening all the time, and so is lava from different times, right? Some is older, some is younger, and of course the older the lava is, the more it is covered with vegetation, and it takes usually hundreds of years that the lavas get covered with vegetation.
Now, I've never seen the Game of Thrones before, but I know I'll be watching it. Do you get that response a lot when people take this tour?
Actually, yeah, I was really surprised today that lots of people watched it. Usually not even the half have watched Game of Thrones. So you should really do that. It's a great show.
Well, I plan to now. I mean, when I think about it, I went to the Field of Dreams, and then I ended up watching the movie, or vice versa, and now we have another situation, the Game of Thrones. So anytime you've been to an area where something's filmed, you're certainly looking to watch it. Now, when we were on that bus tour, I saw that you had monitors on there talking about those scenes. Explain what you were telling a lot of us in the bus.
So the two places we have visited so far that was filmed for Game of Thrones, that was Kalvaströnd, that was a place where Jon Snow met the wildlings, basically. And then in this lava field there were also scenes made also about the wildlings and Jon Snow when he joined the wildlings. And actually, or in general, like all the scenes that you see in Game of Thrones that are made in the winter and beyond the wall, when you see the show you're gonna know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And all the scenes with the White Walkers and so on, they were made here in Iceland.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. Now, when you talk about the rocks in general, that to me is an ultimate thing of beauty. When I was doing my first video, I didn't really know what to say. You almost have to let the camera speak for itself. How do you describe black rocks?
So black rocks, I mean, all the black rocks, or most of the rocks here in Iceland, these are lava rocks, and 90% of the rocks in Iceland is basalt. And then you see the basalt stones or the basalt columns when there are waterfalls or canyons.
Right.
And usually, like from here, from the top, you can't see that these are basalt columns. They're inside, kind of, if you want to say so. And of course, every rock has a different type of color. It depends on how fast it cooled down and how far from down Earth the magma came, to the surface. So it's, I'm not going to go into that rabbit hole now.
Well, that's all right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the craters that we had a chance to go ahead and drive around. Yeah. Explain to what some of those were about as we were passing by.
So the craters we already saw, they are called pseudo-craters because these are not actual volcanoes. So these are, when this whole area here was created, so when the whole glacier was melting, the lava was damming the water around, and this is how the lake got created. And then after a while the lava was flowing slowly into the lake, and the water underneath got heated up, and then the steam needed to exit somewhere, and then little explosions were happening, and this is how these craters got created. So like when you start to cook a thick soup, it starts to bubble, and this was pretty much the same effect.
Then we talk about the man-made lakes. Describe what those are like. Every time you walk around here and you see in the man-made lakes and the waterfalls, those are breathtaking.
Man-made lakes?
Yeah, the little bodies of water that we were seeing here as we were driving by. I saw these little water.
Yeah, that was a lake in Akureyri.
Right.
The small one before we turned on the route number 1. Yeah, that was just that little one was man-made. Because in Akureyri they elevated a platform to make more space, and they thought it's a nice thing then to make a lake. But we're gonna drive by a man-made lake when we get closer to the high temperature zone. So you're gonna see it then on the left hand side. It's a blue lake, so it's blue water. It's like blue milky water, and this is because of the mineral silica.
When people talk about picturesque sites around the world, and I know this is my first rodeo traveling around the world, my first trip across the pond, I see all the greenery in Iceland and all the mountains. Isn't that amazing that you can actually live in this time in and time out and enjoy the beauty of it all?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel really privileged to live here. It is such a beautiful country, and it's so diverse. I mean, you see green, but places it looks, or it can look like being on the moon, and places where you can think you are on planet Mars. So it's super diverse.
So were you born and raised here?
I am actually born in Switzerland.
Really?
Yeah, another beautiful country, but I live since many years here in Iceland. So I feel more home here in this country than in Switzerland.
What brought you to Switzerland?
Because I traveled here once for weeks, and I fell so much in love. And when I had to go back home to Switzerland, I missed Iceland every day, and it feels like I belong here. It's a feeling, or it was a feeling, and that's why I packed all my things and I came up here to the north.
We're going to be making 2 more stops here in Iceland over the next 2 days, but does this stop here get a lot of newfound residents, or as we go deeper, will their population increase a little bit more? And does this part here get a lot of tourists during the off season?
During the off season?
Yeah, or is there such a thing?
I mean, yeah, there's off season in Iceland. Like just the 3 summer months, June, July and August, these are the main seasons of Iceland where most of the tourists are coming. And when you come here during the winter, you barely see a soul. And that's also very beautiful to visit Iceland when it's snowy and white. And of course, this whole area here gets a lot of tourists during the summer because it's a very beautiful place.
So how do people earn a living out here? Is a lot of this a real big touristy area, and do a lot of people just come up here just to move from all over the country?
Yeah, during the summer, yeah, but or like lots of people come here to Iceland to work during the summer, but most of them, they don't live all year round. And the main income for Icelanders is tourism. So since the 21st century, it is tourism, and before that it was the fishing industry.
Well, that leads me to my next question, because I know that fishing is obviously a big popular thing in these parts.
Yeah, absolutely. Icelanders really like to sports fish, and also lots of foreigners come from abroad to Iceland to fish, and it is super popular also to fish on the sea. There's a lot of fish in the Icelandic waters, so yeah, that's why.
Have you seen a lot of the other major cities in Iceland?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been all over the country. I've seen lots of I've been in lots of places here. Yeah.
Which ones stand out?
I mean, Reykjavik stands out With it, it's pretty big for Icelandic standards, or maybe also for Swiss standards, right? And but to be honest, I wouldn't want to live there because it would be too big for me.
Oh, would it? Okay.
Yeah. There are 2/3 of the Icelandic population lives there.
Oh, 2/3 of it does live in Reykjavik,
Yeah.
so that's your major metropolitan area here
exactly.
up in Iceland. And is that where a lot of people live year round for the most part in Reykjavik, because it is the largest city in the country?
Yeah, that's why lots of people like to live there, because you have jobs like all year round, and you get there everything what your heart desires, right? And in other places, or that's why in the 20th century lots of places they shrank, like little towns. Sometimes they even disappeared in total because people moved to Reykjavik. Yeah.
So do you live in this area year round?
Now I live in Akureyri.
Where?
In Akureyri,
Where's
where
that?
where the ship where in the harbor is.
Oh, where our ship?
Yeah, where your ship is.
Okay, very nice. And
Exactly. So this is the it's called the capital of the north because it's the northern part of Iceland, and Reykjavik is in the southern part, and there are 20,000 people living more or less, and that's big enough for me.
When you consider I come from a major metropolitan area, I can appreciate where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That little lunch we had was pretty good because we had all that soup and that bread. Well, what soups out here do you like?
I mean, the Icelandic soup is of course very, very popular. The lamb is in there, and Icelanders also really like tomato soup. But from this cafe here, I liked the curry soup the most. It's not very Icelandic, but yeah.
So as we get ready to wrap up this tour today, what do we have to look forward to? I know there's some falls ahead of us, and tell people out there why this is such a popular tour and what they have to look forward to, whether you've watched the movie before or after. But let's talk about the latter half of this tour.
So our next stop is going to be Grotaggjá. That's a cave that was made because of a fissure was opening because of earthquakes, because the plate boundaries are going through this area here. So it's a super active area, like in a volcanic point of view. And this is the cave where Jon Snow lost his virginity. So a super important scene in the movie Game of Thrones, or in the series. And then the next stop is going to be Námaskarð. That's where it looks like on planet Mars. So this is a high temperature zone, and alteration is happening there. So you can see it smells much like sulfur, so a little bit like rotten eggs. And you see the mud holes in the ground. They are also grayish and bluish because of the silica. So the stones are kind of like melting there. So yeah, you see the alteration. It looks a little bit like Yellowstone, but I think even prettier.
How do you like doing this Game of Thrones tour?
I actually really like it. It's something else sometimes, so it mixes the things up a bit. So yeah, I really like it.
And finally, do you have any family in the area?
No. No, my whole family lives in Switzerland.
So they have not do they come and visit you very much in Iceland?
Actually, yeah, they do. They really like to come here, and I really appreciate it. But usually I go once a year. I go back home, so that's enough.
Well, and finally, and one other thing, what's the cost of living like here in Iceland?
It's super expensive.
Is it really?
And I say that even as a Swiss. So it is very expensive. Housing is super expensive, but also the food itself, because you have to import everything.
Yeah.
Or almost everything, so that's why it is pretty expensive.
Well, I want to thank you very much for joining us on the Motor City Mad Mouth Show. My name is Scott Morgenroth, joined by
Anna Katarina
and where are we at again?
in Dimmuborgir.
Yeah, see, I'll never be able to get that pronunciation right. So for all you people, whether you're Richard Simmons, obviously one of the fitness people, Jack LaLanne, or Denise Austin, I dare you to go out there and take a walk down that lava tour. You'll get a workout there, and I'll tell you one thing, your eyes will get a big test. So on behalf of Anna, my name is Scott Morgenroth, Motor City Mad Mouth. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Motor City Mad Mouth Show, north of Iceland. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Karen Carpenter. You ever heard of her?
No.
Well, you know what? She's with the Carpenters, and I say, I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation. That was the first thing that came to my song here, being up in Iceland. And if anybody thinks I'm going to break a Memorex class, you're probably right, but I had to do it with my good friend Anna. So it's been a pleasure having her on the show again. Once again, please hit the red subscribe button for South Florida Tribune. We have a lot of great stuff, sports, non-sports related material. I look forward to our next interview and as well as our next video. But Anna, thank you so much for joining the big show, and we appreciate your time. And one other thing, why did we get this extra time here? Because I forgot to mention that.
We got that extra time because our driver's license got expired, so we have to wait for another one. Yeah. Okay, great.
All right. Well,
okay, is it fixed?
She is
okay,
explaining the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. So go ahead. Say it one more time.
So the thing was that the police made here at the parking lot a random check, and they checked the driver's license of our driver, and 2 days ago it got expired, and he didn't knew about it, so we had to wait for another driver.
Well, we got that other driver, and now he's getting home, but I know where we're going. Thank you very much for joining us, Anna. God appreciate you. 66 North.
Yeah.
Andretti Racing. Great opportunity to be here on top of the world here. And what an unbelievable place, the Game of the Thrones. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. And once again, thank you.
Thank you, too. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good.
That wasn't too